Super Turrican 2 was released in 1994 by Factor 5, in spite of what you might hear in my other videos. Apparently, in spite of what you might hear in my other videos as well, the soundtrack is done by Chris Hulsbeck. As I mentioned before, you can actually contact him through his email address, which is pretty easy to find, and he'll answer questions for you. I'd be curious to ask him that one, because although the soundtrack to Super Turrican is definitely Hulsbeck-esque, it seems somewhat different. Nevertheless, here we are with my first review, and I've chosen Super Turrican 2. It's more of a partial review since I couldn't actually get past the end of the first, I guess, world, whatever you call it. There's about 4 or 5 stages to each world, and this game's pretty tough. I had to knock down the difficulty, in fact, just for the purpose of this video. What you're watching now is actually the game played on the easy set, and as you'll probably notice as the levels go along, it's not exactly that. The gameplay is really varied. I mean, this is one of the awesome sort of deviants from the standard Turrican gameplay, which puts you in this awesome buggy unless you jump on aliens' heads, which I spent quite a long time enjoying. And here's the typical Turrican end bosses, which are usually about the size of the screen. The ones in this game vary from really easy to really awkward. This would be one of the easier ones. A few things that are worth note. This game is quite expensive to get hold of. You're looking at around about 20 quid for the cartridge loose, unless you're in the USA, where you can get it probably for about $5 or whatever it is, $10 on the Virtual Console for the Wii, which is obviously going to be a much cheaper approach. This is one of those awesome features of the game, bouncing from head to head. And again, I mean, there's quite a lot of diversity, especially for a game of this type, whether you're grappling up the walls, you know, driving on the Doom buggy, or jumping from enemies heads to head. And they keep mixing it up. And in this video I only show the first 4 levels, because it's literally as far as I was capable of getting. Shame on me. But yeah, this game really believes that variety is the spice of life, and everything's nailed perfectly. So they've got every right to believe that. The new feature for this game is the grapple hook. You didn't have that in any previous Turrican games. You did have the sort of, I guess, the lightning gun, or whatever you would call it, which is still in this. They haven't dropped anything, which is one of the cool things about it. This is one of the, I think it's the second level. It's quite easy, but there's some grappling sections that are really quite annoying. Another cool thing about Turrican is the weapons. You notice the bounce weapon here, provided you're standing in the right angle, it'll actually knock down and kill the enemies for you. What I'd done in the previous run through was actually jump down and try and shoot them head on, and you end up losing a lot of health. I mean, for this kind of game, there's quite a lot of strategy involved. And here, unfortunately, is what I describe as the worst weapon in the game, the flamethrower. With all the others, you hold down the fire button, and they'll continually fire. With the flamethrower, although it looks awesome, you have to basically fire it in bursts. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but for some reason it just really put me off when I was trying to use it. You know, by this point in the game I was quite used to it, so it looks like a really good weapon in this example, but not necessarily the case. This part again in level 2 really shows off the grappling well, and also the sort of mode 7 effects. I mean, look at the background just moving with it. It looks so fantastic in motion. Those little guys are complete arseholes. Also, I think we've got the laser weapon at this point. I know the graphical effect on that is really, really cool. There's the sort of lightning gun which freezes your enemies. When you've got, again, it's quite strategic. You freeze your enemies, you wipe them out. If you've got the bounce weapon, you can use different angles to take them out. You've also got the ball, which I haven't actually shown yet. Basically, you press down and jump on the direction pad, and you turn into a spiked ball, which damages the enemies as it rolls along, but can also lay mines. So, again, there's a lot of variety in this game. And on that topic, here's a boss battle. And this one is pretty easy, to be honest, but it takes absolutely ages. You'll notice the footage is edited about 4 times. That's not because I was struggling to do this, it's because it just took so long. I didn't want to spend 4 minutes of the video showing you how to beat one end boss. But the cool thing about these end bosses, they usually die in bits. So you notice his arm falls off, like so. And then when we come back here, as an example of the ball, very briefly. Again, this is pretty much how you do it. You roll underneath and you jump up the sides and you shoot. You know, pretty simple strategy, but at least there is a strategy. I hate games like this where you just almost have to win by fluke, which is really aggravating. This looks pretty easy, and it is easy once you know what you're doing, but the whole game I think is based on trial and error. You know, my second and third playthroughs for this review were a hell of a lot easier than the first one was. And there's a little idle animation here. Oh. Got it away. So this level, it's like a chase sequence, not even a level really. It's really quick. You've just got to run away from that toxic gas before it catches up with you. Again though, variety, the spice of life in this game, and this is only, stage 3, and we've already had 3 completely different levels. And the next one, my god, is even better. So let's just keep it going from here. Yeah, another thing worth noting is you can use the grapple hook to grab power-ups, which is really cool. I'm not so sure much footage of that made it into this video. I hope it did. But again, it's something almost nonchalant and arrogant about it that's really enjoyable. So here we go, here's the end of that level. The gems you collect actually reward you with lives. I think you get a life for every 50 you collect, don't quote me on that. But here's the sort of Hulsbeck-esque music in this game, and it's absolutely brilliant, which is why you're going to have to watch this entire sequence, because I refuse to let it not play. It's quite a simple one, but again it's brilliant. I mean, it's the same thing over and over again for about 2 or 3 minutes here, just wave after wave of enemies. You're swinging on the grapple hook, you've got full control, you know, you were grappled to that amazing flying ship, which looks like some sort of animal, and again the music is just pure Turrican. I think it's fair to say if you don't enjoy this part of the video, then Super Turrican 2 is not for you. But yeah, this level in particular, again with the diversity, once you're done with this, which hopefully won't be much longer, you'll drop down and it presents a whole new part of the level, which has pretty much nothing to do with this bit. I did hear people complain that the levels aren't as large as they were in previous Turrican games, and I'm a fan of the Turrican games. I've played a little bit of them, but not as much as I might like, so I can't really judge on that. But here you go, you jump down, and you're atop this sort of strange sandworm creature. And the first few times I played this, I died over and over again, because there's actually sound cues as to when you should jump, which I didn't realise at the time. And once you get those down, it's really easy. Again, for the sake of making this video as entertaining as possible, I cut this footage down because this level's quite long, and this is all it is. And it's not actually that boring, you know, you've got that wonderful music playing, and it looks fantastic. It's just a whole bunch of fun. But as I say, for the sake of this video, I cut it short here. And then we move on to an end boss. And I kept this bit in here because of the Mode 7 effects. Check this out. That's pretty awesome. And this is one of the more challenging boss fights because you can't fall through the sides. I mean, you can fall through the sides of his mouth, so you got to be careful you don't do that. You're either standing on the roof or the bottom of his mouth, or you're grappled to either of them. And again, I cut this one forward. The boss battles in this game are quite long, not particularly hard, but they're certainly long. That's probably the hardest one that I've had so far. Now this is another interesting level. Witness the sort of laser effect there. What that does, it doesn't actually harm your health or anything, but it blows you back. And this is a common feature in Turrican games. Typically they'd have you blowing back and trying to do platforming at the same time, but in this one, it's less of an annoyance. It's just done for this sake. But you know, it's cool that it's there. Also, those enemies are like the Metal or Meta, or whatever they're called in Mega Man. They're the sort of staple for the Turrican series, and those ones have got welding masks on, which is really amusing, and you'll sort of see why in a minute. But again, it sort of blows you back, and yeah, thought I'd chop it up here a little bit. Again, this section really goes into the sort of trial and error mentality of this game. When I first fought this boss, I couldn't figure out how the hell to kill him. He's not really a boss actually, it's just an sub-boss I guess. And basically what you do is you either jump like I am on that small little turret bit there, or if you've got the bounce weapon, you can actually fire it directly into his beam and it will travel up his beam and into him, which is absolutely awesome. Again, I mean, the thing about this game is I found it hard, but once you know what you're doing, it becomes really, really easy. But I don't think that's a bad thing. I like the idea that you struggle the first time and then when you go through it again, you know, you're just like some sort of unstoppable god, which is, it's pretty cool. This here is probably the most annoying part of the game, and this is about as far as I got. As I say, this is a review, I guess, of the first 4 levels. You know, I'm not going to lie and say I finished it, but I do give it a score at the end. But yeah, again, with more sort of diversity here. I think this is another sub-boss. Again, it took a while to beat, so I chopped this up a little bit. Now he can knock you down, and as you see, the platform at the bottom keeps appearing and then disappearing. So you're always at risk that if you let go, you're going to fall into oblivion. And there we go again with those little guys and the welding masks. And what they do is they just weld your grappling hook off of the wall so you fall down and die just like that. And you know, it's just so awesome. Little tricks like that, attention to detail in this game is brilliant. The graphics are brilliant, the sound's brilliant, the gameplay's so varied. It's an absolutely stunning game, and I highly recommend it.